I'd like to call to order this regular council meeting of the town of Saugeen Shores. And the first order of business, declaration of pecuniary interest, a reminder of your responsibility. Nothing, no additions, deletions, or amendments. The next item is adoption of minutes, and it's been moved by Councillor Mike Myatt and seconded by Councillor Madison that the council adopt the minutes of the council meeting of July the 10th, 2017 as presented. Any errors or omissions? Comments? All in favour? That's carried. Next is committee of the whole minutes, and it's been moved by Councillor Minaj, seconded by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber, that council note and file the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting of July 10th, 2017 as presented. Any errors, omissions, comments? Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to ask on item 7.2 in the minutes, the CAO gave us an update on the Unifor wind turbine acoustic audit, and in follow-up to that item, I wondered if the CAO had any further information that's been gleaned since we last met on that subject.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Deputy Mayor. In fact, we have received updated information recently from the MOECC, which does confirm that Unifor did not or were not able to complete the testing as they had promised to do. They've asked the MOECC for an extension to sometime this fall, and the MOECC has granted that. In the interim, they have asked that Unifor submit whatever testing results that they did have, and the MOECC is suggesting in the letter here, which we will file in the next council agenda package for the public to see, that there will be some analysis done on the partial results they were able to get.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Further questions or comments? All in favour? It's carried. Next item on the agenda is committee report of committee of the whole, a general government report, and it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, seconded by Councillor Madison, that the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the general government report dated July the 10th, 2017, recommending the following. 1, that Council authorized a request for a proposal for a project manager with an estimated cost of $165,000 regarding a new police station, and that the Council authorizes the formation of a steering committee comprised of the CAO, the Police Chief, the Director of Finance, and the contracted project manager, and that Council directs the Director of Finance through the CAO to create the necessary accounting structure to fund and track expenses related to this project, and that the CAO report to Council as appropriate on the status of this project and at necessary decision point. And further, that staff be delegated the authority to hire a project manager, and 2, that Council approve participating in the county-wide request for a proposal for the services of an integrity commissioner. Any questions or comments to this? All in favour? Opposed, if any? That's carried. The next item on the agenda is Environmental Services and Transportation Report, and it's been moved by Councillor Grace, seconded by Councillor Dave Myatt, that Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the Environmental Services and Transportation Report dated July the 10th, 2017, recommending that Council endorse the proposed streetscape plan for High Street from Huron Street to Grosvenor Street as presented to the Southampton BIA, and to allow staff to continue with the tendering this design for construction in the fall of 2017. Any questions or comments to this motion? All in favour? That's carried. The next item is report of municipal officers or committee, and it's the Recreation and Active Transportation Report, and it's been moved by Councillor Madison and seconded by Councillor Mike Myatt. The Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the recommendation in the Recreation and Active Transportation Advisory Committee report dated July the 10th, 2017, outlining the following activities and projects. 1, playground. Analysis of each playground and development of a 5 to 10 year plan for refurbishment, upgrades, improvements as identified in the Recreation Master Plan. 2, soccer fields and ball diamond. Analysis of each soccer field and ball diamond and development of a 5 to 10 year plan for refurbishments, updates, improvements as identified in the Recreational Master Plan. And 3, ice pads. Analysis of the current condition of the Coliseum in Southampton and development of future plans. Questions or comments to this? Councillor Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And through you, just to remind Council that number 2, soccer fields and ball diamonds, we did instruct staff to look at our present ball diamond situation and to come back with a report to us as soon as they can about the state of our ball diamonds and what can be done. So that will be a little addition to that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Dave Mayat.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Perhaps the member of the Active Transportation Committee could just clarify where it says that the prioritization is for the term of the committee, which is a 2-year term, and some of this work is extending significantly out from 2 years. How is this fitting together? You're making obviously a long planned term, and you want to have a plan for refurbishments and expansions as necessary, but it's well beyond the term of the committee.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we hope to come up with a plan to put forward that will go beyond the term of our council, so we can decide what needs to be done and it gets done.
So this is to endorse you guys putting together a more comprehensive plan?
Yes. And again, that can change with a new council, so.
Certainly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now, this is which way the wind's blowing at the moment.
Right on. Thank you.
Okay, any further comments? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Next item is staff report Goddard Street sidewalk and Mary Street sidewalk, and it's been moved by Councillor Dave Mayat, second by Councillor Grace, that Blue Water Lawn Care and Landscaping Limited be awarded the contract for Goddard Street sidewalk from Mary Street to Devonshire Street, and Mary Street sidewalk from Goddard Street to Northport Elementary School, tender 2017, 6320-5765 for $186,826 plus applicable HST, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the necessary tender documents. Questions or comments to this? Councillor Dave Mayat.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the second tender that we've seen come through where there's only a single source. Normally when we see something for a project in this magnitude, we see several different companies participating and bidding, which creates obviously economies of an economy of competitiveness taking place. Is the reason for this that we've left these tenders reasonably beyond the spring tendering season, and we're getting into it in the summertime? And what we've heard before is that the sooner we get the tenders out, the more competitive it's likely to be. Are we finding ourselves behind the 8 ball on some of these?
One thing, first of all, whoever does take the tender, they don't know that there's only one tender process. So I mean, it's still a relatively competitive process. So they don't know that they're the only one. Yeah, but if you talk to all the builders around town, it is very difficult to get people work. They are all busy. This is a poor time of year to go to it. I agree, but there are people having difficulty getting people. I know there's developers. That's
my understanding is they fill their docket in the spring for their whole summer's worth of work, and they're not going to pick up something in the middle.
They do, and then it's not always the best situation.
Perhaps the lesson for us is to get things out earlier.
If we can, for sure. We'll get to Councillor Madison, then we go to Councillor Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have the sidewalk going up to Devonshire, but we have nothing from Devonshire to Tomlinson on the west side of the road. We don't have stoplights yet at Devonshire for people to get across the road to use the sidewalk to get down to Tomlinson to kind of get into the complex here, or to get back across the road again to Independent. I don't know whether you, Mr. Mayor, or our CAO, do we have plans to finish from Devonshire to Tomlinson Drive in the very near future? With the number of homes that are coming in there, we don't want people walking on the side of the road. Is there a plan for sidewalks to extend?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there is a plan for that. I don't know when you say very near future when that would be. We can certainly check in our capital budget and report back to you.
Councillor Minaj.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to vote no, and I'm going to encourage Council to vote no to this proposal at this time, and I'm going to explain why. We have a massive site plan development on the corner of Mary and Goddard Street that is going to require large trucks to remove existing buildings and structures, and other large trucks and construction equipment to access the lots that are left available, and our new sidewalks would be at some extreme risk of being damaged. That would be number one reason. The second reason is that this particular part of the municipality, there are a number of business lots, including the Ford dealership. I will single them out, not for any other reason other than the fact that their driveways are several, 2 or 3 of them, and they're exponentially wide, more wide than I think that they actually need. So I'm not sure I can tell if the sidewalks are actually going to go through their driveways. The red line indicates they are. So how we delineate how much driveway they are legally responsibly allowed to have accessing Goderich Street and how the sidewalk works with their driveways is of concern to me. There is the multiple driveways at Rosner's Garage. There's a street driveway as well. So I don't know if we're cutting through all those asphalt sections to pour the concrete, but the red line implies that we are. I don't know how far set back the sidewalk is from the Goderich Street traffic envelope. The one on the east side is certainly set back substantially so that pedestrians and large amounts of traffic are not in close proximity to each other. There is no indication of what the remaining property between the sidewalk and the road curbing allowance. In fact, there is no curbing allowance at these driveways, at these intersections of these businesses. So I'm not sure what where there is curbing expected on the road, what the treatment will be between the sidewalk and the curbing. So for those reasons, I would ask that we reject this proposal tonight and ask that we have more in-depth review, and possibly the real reason is the development at the corner of Mary and Goderich Street. I have sent in pictures lately where concrete trucks have gone across sidewalks in Southampton and they've destroyed the sidewalks. And I've asked before for a policy that we will take with our construction companies to prevent this from happening, our concrete construction companies. If they're going to continually crack up the concrete sidewalks to make them unsafe for use, they should pay to repair them, or the developer or the owner, residential owner, should pay for them to be repaired. This happened 2 years ago on Market Street, and the answer from the Public Works and Engineering Department at that time was to use the sidewalk budget to pay for all of the repairs. So I'm not sure that that's an appropriate way of doing business, and so I would ask for a moratorium on this. Thank you.
I think Linda, the clerk would like to speak to it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the question with respect to the development on the corner, it will be subject to site plan control. There will be securities on file with it. Some of those securities will be to restore the sidewalk if there is damage done to it. So this development's different than if you have an infilling lot that is not subject to site plan control. So I do have assurances that I can give you that we will have adequate securities to fix any damages to the sidewalk. The design of the sidewalk, it will be as per the engineering drawings. I can't tell you what those are, but they certainly are available in the Director of Public Works office. I just offer those comments.
Any further, Deputy Mayor Charbonneau?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just make the comment that the continuing extension of sidewalk on both sides of Goderich Street, Highway 21 corridor, has been something that the town has been pursuing on an ongoing basis for a very long time. We have managed in a lot of sections along the road on the north end here over the years, since I have been on council and before that, to add sections of sidewalk in this area, and I think that those are critical and valuable sections of sidewalk in that particular area so that people can get up and down the most heavily used corridor in the town of Port Elgin. And I think that we want to keep doing that, and we saw fit in the 2017 budget to fund that project, and I think it's extremely valuable to continue doing that. And also I make the point that this is by no means complete, but we have the intersection improvement coming at Devonshire. I assume that work is still proceeding and will be completed in the near future, and the continued extension of those sidewalks to the north as development occurs in this area. So I think this is a very important project and a great project, and one that we should definitely proceed with. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Mike Myatt.
Just point of clarification, Mr. Mayor, through you to one staff member may be able to answer this, but the development on the corner of Mary Street and Goderich, are any of those costs recoverable for sidewalk construction in front of the heading both directions, heading north and heading west to the school? When the development goes in, is it customary? Is it part of when the development happens like that, where they actually share in the cost of sidewalks in front of the building, or is that 100% the responsibility of the municipality?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the cost sharing typically occurs with the developer. So if sidewalks are required, it is common practice that the developer pays a share of the sidewalks.
Clarify, Linda, so even though if this project goes ahead and the sidewalks are put in at a later date, the construction of the development happens 2 years from now, then we would cover that portion at that time, even though the sidewalks have been placed.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there's got to be a reasonable point in time when that development takes place. So within the next couple of years, I say, yes, we would ask the developer to contribute to the sidewalks. 10 years from now, no, we would not get a contribution, for example.
Vice Deputy Mayor Huber.
I'll be voting no, too, for some of the same reasons as Councillor Minaj, but I just wanted to, a 1.5 meter wide sidewalk makes sense in a lot of places, but this would be a great opportunity to do something that gets bikes off the highway, because that's what we'll be doing. The sidewalk will be a bike route, but it's being built as a pedestrian sidewalk, but it will be bikes on it mostly. I think we're not building something that puts those two users together in a meaningful way, and I guess I understand what you're saying, Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, and I agree with you too, but I think that, that's part of this part of town too, and perhaps this is the place where we could start to blend those two things together, because we know bikes don't want to ride on the highway, and I don't think most of us would disagree that it's dangerous on the highway, particularly in that stretch, 2 lanes, and it's pretty busy and fast speeds. But, let's be honest, building a sidewalk there, it's a bike route, and we're not building a bike route pedestrian combination. Thank you.
Okay. Any further comments? I certainly agree with, we put this in our budget, and I certainly agree with the Deputy Mayor on his reasoning. I think for a number of reasons, because you're seeing some development down Devonshire that was going to connect this eventually to Northport Elementary, and I think it's time to build the thing. Anyways, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That fails. The next item on the agenda is bylaw to establish a code of conduct for the members of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Saugeen Shores. So it's been moved by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber, seconded by Councillor Minaj, that bylaw 59-2017, being a bylaw to establish a code of conduct for the members of Council of the Corporation of the Town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 24th day of July, 2017. Questions or comments? All in favor? That's carried. And next item is a confirmatory bylaw. So it's been moved by Councillor Minaj, second by Councillor Grace, that bylaw 60-2017, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores, hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 24th day of July, 2017. All in favor? Carried. And the last one, which says, it's been moved by Councillor Grace, second by Councillor Dave Mayette, that this regular council meeting of July 24, 2017 hereby adjourns at 9:04 p.m. All in favor? Okay, adjourned.